okay, just stick to the basics. That's within the realm of the fitness wellness arena, right? Nutrition, sleep, right? Recovery, mobility, all that stuff is a way more fruitful conversation that they could be. I know you, fellow Filipinos, I know you know a lot about programming, but instead of being like, oh, I'll get back, I would suggest guide that conversation like, cool, hey, we can get to that, but can I ask you a question? Sure. What's your sleep looking like? What's your nutrition? I mean, I would give them the straight up answer off the bat. Hey, here's the deal. The programming is excellent, right? And if we're repeating movements and things are redundant, it's because it's a linear progression. That's how you build strength. That's why the metcons are changing. Hold on, let me just wrap it up real quick. So, and then gently through questions, through asking questions. Hey, what does this look like? What's your nutrition? How do you feel? How does your body feel? What are you doing for recovery? You can guide that energy, right, and that passion that they're pointing at the programming to something that's going to yield way more. About to cuss again. That's going to yield way more fruit, right? Be way more.
Wait, were you going to say fruit?
I was going to say effing fruit.
Okay, go ahead.
Yield way more fruit and way more progress in terms of them actually getting stronger, better, faster, right? Because all that emotional energy that they're spending worrying about the programming the brain, it burns more calories than any other organ in the body. All that energy, all that mental momentum
true?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Could be pointed, could be that goes into the whole evolution of this as human. Anyway, that's a whole other topic. But that could be pointed at stuff that would be making them way healthier and stronger and faster if they just trust the program and pointed that energy, because that energy is not a what's the word I'm trying to say. It's a limited resource, right? You don't just have an abundance of that kind of emotional and physical energy coursing through your brain and your body, right? If you're burning it worrying about the programming, you don't have it to burn on making sure you're eating right, or pointed towards your personal relationships, or whatever the case may be. It's a limited resource, I guess is what I'm saying. So they should be spending it very wisely, and spending it on the program is not a wise or efficient way to burn it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So I have a different, like when I hear that, when I hear people asking those questions or complaining about it, whatever, I just think, to me, it's just a person, a client, an athlete, whatever you want to call them, that's bored.
Right.
And they misunderstand. They don't get the point, right? And that's the coach's job.
Well,
that's their point of contact.
Here's the deal.
Job.
If athletes are bored with the program in your gym,
they're bored in your gym.
They're bored.
It's not going to matter what you throw at them. No matter what, they're going to end up turning, for lack of a better term, right? And I guess the point is that I put so.
What is the point, Rudy? Get to the point.
The point is that.
What is the point?
Oh my God. Okay, this is what he gets bored when I talk, and I have to listen. Because I'm excellent on camera.
No, because you do have to listen to what I say.
But anyway. So we talked about we said
he does have to listen to what I say. That's the point.
We said benefits and drawbacks, right? And the point being is the drawback is a joke, sort of, or whatever. It's there just to kind of shed light on the fact that there is no drawback, right? When I say strength, when we talk about strength, we're not talking about, are we cursing or not? Yes? We're not talking about size.
Oh, no, you can't say the F word.
We're not.
Too far, dude. God.
We're not talking about
habitual
damning size. Damn?
Can we curse? Size.
You just gave me the green light. If we're doing it, we're doing it.
No, there's levels.
Oh my God. We're not talking about gosh darn size.
So, as far as the programming, I think what you're trying to communicate is in terms of, is it strength bias? No, strength is a cornerstone, is a hallmark of our training, because it's arguably the most essential.
It's the building block.
It's the building block for general wellness and athleticism and quality of life, right?
Right. You don't pass go as a weightlifter if there's not a base of strength, right? And people get obsessed about weightlifting strength versus powerlifting strength. Blah,
now,
blah,
when
blah.
we talk about strength, like I said, you can be very, the definition of strength is a very philosophical question, right?
Yeah.
So you could argue it had as a mental context, but at the most basic physiological level, strength is not size of muscle. It's the efficiency and the power behind your central nervous system, right? So the analogy I'll always give my athletes or my coaches is, if your muscles are the speakers, your CNS is the amp and the wiring behind it. So you can get big noise, a lot of output out of some small but quality speakers with a badass amplifier and great wiring. Perfect example of that, our buddy Jared Flemming, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's not a little guy, right? But he was in town visiting, for those of you who don't know Jared Flemming, he's one of the best weightlifters.
World team member, former world team member.
Former U.S. Record holder in the snatch. He's one of the strongest human beings on the planet. Strongest. Right, he came in the gym. His grandparents live around here. He's a good friend of ours. He came in the gym to work out while he was in town. And one of our coaches was our site director Ben was like, "Oh, that's Jared Flemming, man. He's a badass weightlifter. He's one of the strongest dudes in the world. Whatever." And the athlete he was talking to was like, "That guy?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "That guy right there." Yeah. Don't get me wrong. Jared's he's a strong looking dude. But to a lot of people, he doesn't look like one of the strongest guys in the world because he doesn't have a ton of muscle mass.
He at that point he looked like a really.
No, this was recent. This was in the
right. But I'm saying like when we first met him probably, and he had like kind of longish hair. He looked like a really fit soccer player.
Right.
Like, nothing.
I mean, he had bigger legs than most soccer players, but he didn't.
He's gonna get mad that I said that. No.
It's a compliment, Jared.
Yeah.
The point is that he's one of the strongest dudes on the face of the earth, especially when you consider that our weightlifters in the United States are not on drugs. They get followed around, they're drug tested constantly, right?
Yeah,
so he's one of the naturally
I've actually been there when he's been drug tested.
So he's one of the naturally strongest human beings on the planet, when you take but the point is because anyway, what I'm getting to is because his nervous system is amazing.
Yeah, so can we go off on that little tangent? We've been on this a while, but it brings up a good point. Like strength, the reason that there's a lot of people that don't have big muscles that are strong is because their central nervous system has developed to a point where they can activate their from the impulses that come down from their brain that shoot out to the muscles, activate better than other people. They have less. There's less. I forgot the term. There's less inhibition is the term, but
they can get they can get closer to 100% of their muscle fibers to fire at any one moment in time.
So you're not so you're pretty well trained. I've trained for a long time. Blah blah blah. We're at whatever percentage we're at, right? 85, whatever. A guy like Jared's at 95, right? And people like that. Like you take a guy like Wes Kitts, right? I used to work with Wes Kitts. I was his first weightlifting coach. He's the best lifter in the country now. Broken every record. He's going to the Olympics. Blah blah blah. When he came to me, or when I started working with him, he was already like a elite, like the highest, like nearly a world team member at that point at 105, which was the weight class at the time. And when I saw him lift, I thought this guy's the strongest guy I've ever seen. Like he's just the strongest guy, and he played football and blah blah blah. But when I worked with him, he apparently sucked, right? And now he's like going to the Olympics, and his lifts are astronomically bigger than they were, right? I don't know. His snatch is 10, 15 kilos bigger. His clean was massive. He always he couldn't jerk. He had issues with the jerk, but he cleaned like 220 or something crazy like that, right? 500 pounds. But point being, he's gotten significantly better, right? Since I worked with him. And when I worked with him, I thought he was the strongest guy I'd ever seen.
Are you going to get to a point?
Can you...
I can't help it, dude.
Really?
How long are you gonna?
I've been talking about this for like a minute.
Sorry, I have a small attention span when you start talking about super
Jesus
competitive
Christ. The point being that from the time that I worked with the guy until now, he's gotten significantly stronger. How? How is that possible, right? Well, partially it's technique. His technique's gotten a lot better, right? But mostly his nervous system fires better now than it did then, right? And the majority of people, we always used to talk about this. You have a guy coming off the street, right? Big, strong-looking guy. Maybe played football, whatever. Name your sport, right? First time he deadlifts, he's struggling with 135 pounds, 155 pounds, whatever it is, right? Mm-hmm. 2 months later, after he's trained, he's pulled a bunch of deadlifts, he's kind of used to the bar. 2 months later, he pulls 200 pounds more. How'd that happen? Right? How's that possible? Did he get that much stronger? Did he gain a whole bunch of new muscle fibers in 2 months?
Right.
No. His nervous system let go of the inhibition that it had, that it kind of put the walls up that wouldn't allow those lifts to happen. Right? It's what we see with in weightlifting with new clients. It's what we see in every aspect. But
his body learned how to make more of his existing muscle fibers fire at the same time.
Yeah, the point being that by developing strength, by constantly repeating these things, by constant exposure, etc., it's not just that we're worried about building more muscles, right? It's that we're worried about activating more muscles, right? And that's an aspect that I think is like isn't talked about, right? And people don't just because they don't understand it, right? Everybody's worried about muscles, right? Everybody's worried about what their muscles are going to do.
Well, and it's funny because it didn't used to be that way when CrossFit started 20, 30 years ago.
30?
When I was still in my 30s.
You're 60?
That was kind of an inside joke. Huh?
You're in your 60s?
No, the point is when it started, it was more and now it is slowly, but I mean, there's CrossFitters now that are famous for their bodies. They're not competitive on any kind of real scale or anything, right? I mean,
well, they're maybe more famous for their social media following than.
Well, yeah, that's still famous.
All right. Yeah, agreed.
And they've never actually really achieved anything as an athlete.
Right. I don't want to go down that path. I don't like to talk about competitors. Nope. I want to stick to the clients, and that's it. Running your gym.
That's right. Sustainable business is what Rudy is all about.
That's what I'm all about. Competition? Nope. Don't care.
To be fair, I do love competition. I'm not saying that. Well, let's be competitive about sustainable business.
What are the drawbacks of being strong?
0.
Rip your pants.
No, see that
you have to buy more weights.
Rip your pants because you say that's because they're bigger. See, now you're contradicting yourself.
No, because when you pull them on, you pull them too hard.
Oh, because you're so strong when you pull. Nailed it. Good recovery.
You have to buy more weights. You missed that one because you don't have enough because you're too strong.
Weights are expensive.
They're a pound. At least $1 a pound.
And to zero in for all the ladies out there worried about getting too big, it takes a lot of genetics and a lot more time and a lot of supplements to really get super jacked.
You could shave with that.
Are we signing off?
Our video is over. Please help. John,
I'll sign. Bye.
John is torturing me with arrows.
Bye, buddies. Rudy's gonna go make out with Wes Kitts. That 90% of you don't even know who he is anyway.
He's going to the Olympics.
Nobody cares.
So sort of a big deal.
Nobody.
I hate competition though.
No. No one cares.